10:18 left. Check. One timeout. Check. Need a turnover. Check. Checked it all freaking off. All checked off. Boom. Done. Exactly how I said it would go.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert.
I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 98. Even though our producer thinks it's 97, it's really 98 of Birds vs. Boys. Hopefully this episode is out in the airwaves before the Eagles and Cowboys play Saturday night. Today is Wednesday night. You're probably listening to it on Thursday. We have a thrilling game coming up. It's Hate Week. And if you can't tell in my voice, we have a lot of emotion going into this game. Aidan, how are you? Welcome to Hate Week.
How are you, buddy? Listen, I extend my congratulations to you, even though all of the Cowboys fans are acting like the characters and don't look up, and they think that a comet is falling on Earth because the Cowboys lost one game and the refs cheated them. You guys are in the playoffs. You won the division. There's a lot to be excited about. Hey, you know who else is in the playoffs? We are. It's a good time. We're having a good time. It's a relaxing time.
Listen. Cowboys did not get cheated by the refs. The Cowboys may have had 6 penalties on third down, but they were not cheated. From Mike McCarthy to Leighton Vander Esch to these TikTok crying fans, shut up. Don't fumble the ball in the fourth quarter. Intercept the ball in the end zone. Make the field goal. I don't know. Maybe don't waste a timeout when they're just trying to mess with you on fourth down. And then maybe you would have a timeout to actually challenge the play with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left.
Should we just get into that game and quickly recap your recap? I'll do technical notes quick.
Sure.
So we don't have a guest tonight. There's a lot to do for us too. So we're just going to tackle it ourselves tonight. But thank you to every guest over the regular season because we had one pretty much every single week.
Yeah,
TikTok, we have an interesting one coming up. Top 5 games of the regular season. And also, we were guests on Flippin the Birds podcast last night of Philadelphia Sports Network. So if you wanted to hear us in an avenue where we are the guests instead of the hosts, check that out. We had a lot of fun with those guys on there.
I would say, though, when we go on other shows, we kind of turn into semi-hosts.
Yeah. Well, I just think that it's just natural to us to kind of like feel that way. So it just kind of like comes naturally to start asking questions and start doing, the sit around the circle and talk about our feelings and talk about everything. So I think that kind of played,
especially with guys that don't know us yet, and then our energy comes in, and then they're like, "Oh, okay,
exactly," and then we're best friends for life,
just like that, All right, so you want to recap a little bit?
We might as well. I think you had a lot to say, and you were upset, and I think it'll be okay. The sun's gonna rise tomorrow, and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the therapist for the therapist in The Sopranos. You know how the woman therapist for Tony has her own therapist? That's how I feel right now.
That's how you. So I put out my reaction video. It was 2 minutes long, and it was in my bathroom because I was about to drown myself in the shower after the game. And it's funny. That's one of my most watched recap videos that we've ever put out on YouTube. Yeah. Hilarious. And then I put out a real recap and then a Michael Gallup one. So make sure you go check out my recap videos, Aidan's recap videos, all on our YouTube channel. Just subscribe. You can watch breaking news videos, our player breakdowns, whatever you want. It's on there on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Shout out to all of our subscribers and new ones. We just keep gaining every day. So yeah, Cowboys lose 25-22. It's funny. Like, a lot of people had high hopes in this game, and I know I usually do go in pessimistically, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Yeah, all right, Arizona's missing corners. Arizona's missing linebackers. They're missing the right tackle. No James Conner. Wide receivers out. No Hopkins. Okay. But it just like from the jump, I was like, oh, it's going to be one of these games. Even not the penalties. You know what I mean? When you're just like, oh, it's one of these, huh? And I was
like when they catch a fake punt with the defender's back.
David Tyree, basically.
Pretty much.
Like I was like, yep, all right. I was like this, waving the white flag. As soon as that happened, I go, this is just not. It's not happening.
Who tried to warn you? Who tried to warn you 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
I said the Colts were going to beat the Cardinals. They were going to be in desperation mode. Go into AT&T Stadium where Kyler has had tons of success since before he could drive a car and win.
Yep.
And that's how it went.
And they did it. And they punched the Cowboys in the mouth. They confused Dak Prescott. I'm sick and tired of some of these fans that are like, well, you're just a Dak hater if you say anything bad about him. Like, listen, I support Dak Prescott. I want Dak Prescott to thrive and succeed. Obviously, he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. I agreed with the contract. I obviously thought, what are they going to do? Start Cooper Rush? Stop. Dak Prescott's the quarterback. But
they could this week if they wanted to.
They could. But you can't deny that since the calf injury, and I'm not blaming the injury, and since the Broncos game, where Vic Fangio said he got the blueprint and teams have been playing them differently, Dak looks off. Dak looks confused. Dak is at the line checking every play. You know what I hate too is when he turns around and he's given calls and he turns his back to the defense. I hate that. I hate it.
He does do that
a lot.
I don't see any other guys. That's weird.
Romo used to do it too.
You know what I noticed about Big Ben, like past like few years or so? He always like runs around. Like he runs to the receivers and stuff. Yeah. And it's always just a 3-yard pass. Yeah. Like he talks to every guy. Hey, how's your afternoon going? Like to everyone on the offense. And then like 2 seconds left, he's come on, ball. And then just like throws a 3-yard pass and gets Deontay Johnson's head taken off.
But it's, I mean,
sorry, I got way off course, but it just reminded me of just the different actions of quarterbacks.
Yep. And I don't know. Budda Baker said it. They knew that they had to confuse Dak and get him questioning pre-snap. And it seems to be that a lot of teams are doing that. So I think it's a lot up here. It's between the ears with Dak right now. I don't think he's fully confident in himself. And obviously, I don't think he's fully confident in this offensive line whatsoever because they got mauled again. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tyron looked rusty. He's missed a couple of games. Biotis just gets blown up. Lyle Collins is a good run blocker. And then, I mean, Zach Martin. But this offensive line is just this was the first time the offensive line has been a full unit of what they expected it out of training camp, and they got blown up.
Here's a question for you. You talked about it kind of being mental with Dak right now. Other teams kind of having the blueprint, and Budda Baker said, we are looking to confuse him. Do you think, and not to give away one of our topics that we're going to discuss later, but do you think seeing the Cardinals again in the playoffs, he would be better because he's seen them before and knows what to expect?
God, I hope so. I hope so. I hope they've they're probably going to see Arizona again. I think that's the safest bet. It's not guaranteed.
I was about to say not guaranteed. I think the NFC West is just weird. You know, the Cardinals play the Seahawks. Rams 49ers is that's a very, very good game against two really good teams.
And this could be Russ's last game as a Seahawk. He might want to go out flying.
Yeah. I don't think it's at home though. So
yeah,
it's at Arizona.
Yeah,
so
it is.
But still, I'm looking at Rams 49ers. 49ers have to win to make the playoffs. I think they are a legit playoff team. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. But the Rams, like they've been one of the hottest teams in football.
Mm-hmm. And they could drop to 5.
Exactly.
And then be down.
And then you could be playing the Rams. I don't know if I want to play them either. But.
No, I don't want to play.
We'll don't give it away. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We got to recap.
Yep. Yeah.
Review. So, we got to do all our re's before we get into our pre's.
So they couldn't run the ball, obviously, at all. The leading rusher was Dak Prescott, I think, for like 19 yards or something, which is not sustainable going into the playoffs. You need to be able to run the ball. Running the ball helps your whole team. And I think you've seen that more than anybody as an Eagles fan. Running the ball just doesn't help your offense, doesn't help the quarterback it helps the entire team. be able to run the ball. So
every offensive line you ever hear interviewed, they're like, what do you like to block for more, running or passing? It was 100%, 10 out of 10. Every single time they say running.
Because they get to hunt.
Yes.
They get to maul. It's not just just blocking. You're attacking.
You want another Civil War analogy since the first one went so well? What's better, when you're uphill charging downhill or downhill having to charge uphill? That's offensive line play.
Yeah. I've been watching World War II in color, and it's the same cut. They were talking about how the Nazis were dug in up top, and you don't want to be going up the hill.
Yeah.
You want to go down the hill.
Yeah.
So they need to fix the running game. They need to fix Dak Prescott. And the thing that confuses me too with the play calling and Kellen Moore, it's Amari Cooper goes on the radio and says he wants to be more involved. When he is involved, they play really well and tend to win. So they get him involved immediately in Washington.
You know what would help in that situation of Amari Cooper asking to be more involved? If Amari Cooper looked like he ever wanted to be more involved.
Ever. He's just like
he is a great player, but his nonchalantness in Philadelphia, we know how it goes here. We're doing the booing thing again because of the Sixers. It would not go well with Amari Cooper.
No, he would not. I don't know if he overthink it. That's literally just even he goes on the radio station every Thursday and they interview him. And the most exciting thing about the interview every week is asking him which car he's in, because you can hear the engine. He's either in the G-Wagon or his Ferrari. That's the most exciting part. Because right before the holidays, they were like, "Oh, Amari, what do you like to do for the holidays, Christmas? Like, is this a day that you like to do this or this? Like, he's like, I don't really like the holidays anymore. Used to when I was young, but now I'm not really into it." Like, that was the answer. And it's like, what? That's him on the field. Like, yeah, can you pass me the ball, maybe, please? But the thing that's funny is earlier in the season, in the Minnesota game, at the end of the game, when they had a chance to win the game, which they did, they were in the huddle. They called the play for Amari that he was getting it in the corner of the back of the end zone. And CeeDee Lamb went up to him and was like, "Yo, can I get this one?" And Amari Cooper's like, "Get the fuck out of here, young buck."
Yeah.
And he I need more of that. Give me that.
Yeah, give me that wild card weekend against the Rams or the Cardinals. Come on.
So I want them to start just taking shots again. Like, I understand shell coverage. They're not giving you know what? Take a shot. Like I think I said this last night on Flippin the Birds. I want them to use CeeDee Lamb the way Cincinnati is using Chase. Just send him. If you have one-on-one, go. I guarantee he's a better athlete.
Yeah.
Take a shot at least. They're just like, it's check down. Schultz. Pollard dropping the pass. Zeke dropping a pass.
And it feels like anytime they get into trouble, they go into this mode where then they spread everything out and they're like, all right, we got to get it to these guys. We got to get down the field in a hurry. And they do. And it's just like, wait a second. You mean you could have been doing this the whole time?
Yep. And I will say, though, like, they were moving the ball in Arizona and they had 6 penalties on third down. 6. And 4 of the 6 wiped out first downs. Those type of things are so hard to overcome in the NFL. Because if you had
forward, 2 steps back mentality,
like you had 3rd and 6, right? And you run for 9 yards, hold, and now it's 3rd and 16. It's not now you're done. You're basically in punt mode now.
Yeah, getting a holding penalty on 2nd and 3rd down is just a death wish. It's just like jump off a bridge. It's over. Done. Over. Nothing. See ya.
If they can fix things like that, the penalties, which, been saying that all season, and they continue to be the most penalized team in the league. And they can, the thing that I love too is when they run up tempo. Obviously, you saw it in Washington too. They call it their fastball. It gets Dak in a rhythm. It gets these wide receivers going. It also stops the defense from being able to get players on and off the field. And they get a top. Just run them into the ground. Run your fastball as much as you can. I know you can't do it all game long because, God forbid, you go 3 and out. 2 series in a row quickly and you get your defense back on the field, you have a gas defense. And that's exactly what happened in the Notre Dame Oklahoma State game. I don't know if you watched that, but the second half, the Notre Dame defense was gassed and they almost came back to win. But I had heartbreaking fashion on Saturday and Sunday for me this week.
You had a rough week.
I did. It was not good. It was not good at all. But I don't know. The defense was not at their elite status against that little fucker Kyler Murray and those guys on Sunday.
I love his little cartoon legs. They are so funny.
I hate him. And that's what Kingsbury and the Cardinals did at the end of the game, because they weren't able to run the ball much at all. Your boy Chase Edmonds wasn't doing anything, and they were like, "All right, Kyler, go," and he just did his thing. He wasn't even doing like Kyler Murray things in the beginning of the game, and then he just took over that last drive, even though there was a fumble that was not a fumble.
Or the guy, it was that 4th down when they brought out the kicker and the quarterback, and they were like, I don't know what to do. So when they're complaining about the fumble, I always think back and say, that's because they got you.
Absolutely. And they said they practiced that play all week to get the Cowboys to burn a timeout.
Worked to perfection.
It really did.
That, to me, for a Cardinals team that I think it sometimes plays some of the dumbest football in the league, and for an extremely talented team that makes me question whether they could have a deep playoff run. In that moment, on some points on Sunday, I was like, okay, this looks like a legitimate playoff team.
Yep. And they didn't have all their horses. And that's what scares me. So can the Cowboys win this game in the playoffs if they face them again? Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. But they also need to play defensively different. I am a big proponent of a guy like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. Don't spy him. Attack him. You need to attack him, especially when you have a person like Micah Parsons. I don't want him out there spying. And no, Micah needs to go. Hopefully Micah needs in, we'll get there. T's and P's now. I don't know. The COVID thing scares me. There's been a couple guys in the Cowboys who have gotten it, and they have not been the same player since this season. And I know Mike is younger and he's a freak and but it makes me nervous.
Well, listen, there's 12 that I know about that I'm thinking the same thing. It sucks. It's like the dark cloud over it still, where it's like, all right, if, like the national championship on Monday, Georgia, Alabama, 2 awesome teams. That should be a great game. Like, what if the Georgia defense gets a bunch of COVIDs? Yep. It's just like, but we'll be doing that next week. We'll be like, okay, the Bucks play the 49ers. That's a great first round matchup. Oh, Debo and George Kittle are out. Well, that's that. Like, there's that stain over it that
it's coming next week too. Like I get nervous like looking at tweets now when I see like Rappaport or Schefter, or I get like an ESPN alert on my phone. Like I don't even want to look at them.
Oh, dude, I've gotten so many Woj and Shams notifications of G League players being signed for 10-day contracts in the NBA because no one can freaking play. It's insane. I don't get this many. I don't get this many notifications in the middle of free agency.
Just wait though in the playoffs. All of a sudden, it's like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Like,
that would suck. They can't take this away from us.
I have a feeling though. In the playoffs,
they'll disappear
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, testing. Everything's good. We're clean.
We talked about that like 6 weeks ago. You were like, what do you think they would do if Brady and Mahomes tested positive before the Super Bowl? We wouldn't never find out because they'd be playing that freaking Super Bowl.
They'd be like, burn it now. Burn the
Yeah, they'd be like, well, all right. You're positive, and you're positively playing in this game too. Get out there.
You're negative. It's like when I was in Turks and Caicos this summer, and they have to test you to get home, and they don't want you to stay there. They want to turn and burn, baby. Get these people in and out. They like the girl like put it like she like touched my nose with it, and then like touched my nose, and then walked out of the room. And 8 seconds later, walked back with a piece of paper saying I was negative. I was like, okay,
yeah. They're like, get out of here.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're America's problem now. We're not housing you for 10 days.
See ya. But yeah, so disappointing loss. Obviously, I'm still upset about it, but I'm moving forward. We are on to the Eagles, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't. We're playing everybody. Maybe.
Maybe. We're playing people. Our players want to play. Maybe. They don't have COVID.
Like, what if we just like come together as fan bases and the teams come together and they do some sort of like beer Olympics on the field or something, like tailgate games on the field. Hold on. Offensive line versus offensive line flip cup.
Great idea. And that leads me into one thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. Did you see the scenario that could unfold in the AFC?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'll preface it for the people. So if the Colts lose to the Jaguars,
which they've lost there 6 straight times.
Yes. The Raiders and Chargers could just tie and both make the playoffs. So they just
they could like kneel.
Yeah.
Do they play after?
They are Sunday Night Football because the thinking is they'll probably be a do or die game. Yes. So if the Colts win, there's one spot left. It's going to go to the Chargers or the Raiders. But if the Colts lose, they could just tie and both make the playoffs. They have to do nothing and they both secure a playoff spot.
Can you imagine if they just like kneeled every play? Like, what would Roger Goodell call mid-game? Be like, this can't happen?
Honestly, I thought about that too. And just like, would it be a mockery of like competitive sports, or would everyone be like, we got to tune into this?
I'd be locked in.
Just sitting playing duck, duck, goose in the middle of the field.
I would be locked in.
I know, me too. Because you know what I'd be thinking? And I would especially think this if I was the other coach. I'd be like, can I trust this cocksucker on the other sideline not to screw me with 2 minutes left in the fourth, fake a kneel, and just launch him?
Can you imagine if they just had like a punt off?
Yeah, they effectively would.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think it'd be hilarious. I think people would actually tune in because you can honestly say you will never watch an NFL football game like that again. In
Twitter
college, we watch that
nuts.
every Saturday in the Big Ten West.
Twitter would be going nuts.
Oh, it would be a top 5 sports day in like Twitter history.
And it would turn into the ultimate drinking game.
Yeah, they would do documentaries on that for years. Just the kneel off, the great 22 kneel off.
30 for 30. The kneel.
Yes.
What if I told you 2 teams took a knee to secure a spot? You see, and then they just like we would also need like a video camera in Carson Wentz's house.
Oh yeah,
while this is happening.
Or just like, what if I told you winning wasn't everything?
Like if that happened and the Colts get screwed out of the playoffs like that, I mean, how does Carson believe in Jesus anymore?
Listen, I'm a big Carson believer, but bud, if you lose to the Jaguars in a winning you're in situation, we have issues. I had a dream last night. I was in the middle of the woods for some reason, and he threw a pick 6 in overtime against the Jaguars, and
you were watching this from the woods.
I was on my phone in the middle of the woods by myself. I'm sure there's some psychology in there somewhere, but I don't know what it is. I don't think I want to know. But the other crazy part of it is the Steelers, if they win, could get in unless both of those teams tie. Then they're screwed.
It needs to happen. We need everybody in Duval to come together one last time.
Apparently they are, but they're dressing up as clowns and coming to the stadium to protest their ownership group.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's the other thing with Carson and the Colts. You're in a win-and-you're-in situation against the worst team in your league, and the other team are dressing up as clowns to protest the team. You just can't lose this one. It's just there is no coming back if you lose that one.
How about the Titans, man? They're gonna have the 1 seed, they're gonna have the bye, and they're getting a fresh, rested, healthy Derrick Henry back.
I admit I am one of those people. I still don't understand how they're good.
Neither.
It blows my mind every time I watch. And I'll watch them win and I'll watch them be good. And I'll still be like, wait a second. What did I miss?
Yeah.
And
I think Vrabel is just I think he threatens them with death.
Probably. They play great team defense, I think is what it is. It's like the conversation we had earlier. Maturity and knowledge is realizing that football is won on offensive line, defensive line.
Yep, 100%. And that's why the Giants, who have known they've needed offensive line and defensive line every draft, every year, they just like, nope, that's running back.
Bold move by Joe Judge to give that speech 5 days after I did my eulogy. Now, I wish I could have included that, but I can't go back down that road.
He's dead already.
Shame. Yeah.
Everyone wants to play. They're begging to play for me.
I think his job was safe, and then he did that, and now I don't think it's safe. So speaking of things you can't come back from, here, that speech, losing to the Jaguars in Week 18 while they do a clown protest.
I was going to say that was very Trumpian of him.
Yeah.
They love me. Everyone loves me.
Yeah.
They all want to play for me.
Ballots came in overnight that said they still wanted to be on the Giants.
All of them. They want to come. Everyone. Peyton Manning's coming out of retirement just to play for me.
And Eli. Both.
Yeah. And even Tom Brady. He wants released. He wants
Odell's coming back.
play for me. Yeah.
I'm freeing Odell again.
It's a tremendous team. My team's a tremendous team. All right. Do you want to talk about your game or?
Let's do it because I already talked about this game last week.
Admirals,
I told you this
Commanders, or Redwoods,
ready?
or
4-point game. Check. 1:18 left. Check. 1 timeout. Check. Need a turnover. Check. Checked it all freaking off. All checked off. Boom. Done. Exactly how I said it would go. I just have watched enough NFC East football in my life to know exactly how that game was going to end up. So when we were down 10-0, I was nervous, but I'm like, yeah, I understand how this feels, how this is going to go for sure.
Are you somewhat a little nervous with the slow starts of this team heading into the playoffs? I know they've won all these games, but it seems like Giants, Washington, they're always awful in the first half.
I mean, my bigger worry is the fact that there's still holes in this team. And it's like, look at every other receiver core for an NFL or an NFC playoff team. Like, we have the worst.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the Bucks, with what they've got going on, maybe they have the worst, but they also
they still have Antonio Brown.
Technically, yeah. Technically, they do. That is true. So I think there's still holes on the team, and I think there's like a talent level thing that I worry about way more. Than the slow starts, because I can foresee it where a team doesn't take us seriously. We're up 10-0, and then it's like, all right, can we hold the line for these next 2 quarters?
Yeah,
I kind of foresee something like that.
Hey, I feel like if you can get up on a team like that with your run game, you could.
Yes, and that's something I meant to bring this up last night. I'm disappointed I didn't think about it because they had asked us, were we concerned about the running game because it wasn't as good against Washington on Sunday. But when I thought about it after the fact, we had a 5-minute drive in the fourth quarter. Avonte Maddox gets the stop on 4th down. We get the ball back, and we have a 5-minute drive where we throw the ball 1 time and go down and get points. And they ran it every single play, and Washington knew we were about to run it every single play. There was a 4th and 1 where they knew we were going to sneak it, and Jalen Hurts still got 3 yards because Jordan Mailata just blew everything up. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's a playoff team thing to do. A 5-minute drive in the fourth quarter that results in points and keeps the ball away from the other team. That's some playoff team shit.
That's what the 2016 Dallas Cowboys did. They did that all the way to a 1 seed.
Yeah.
I won the fantasy game, but I chose to play Jordan Howard over Boston Scott. That wasn't the right move.
I was surprised by the split that happened, but I did. The thing was the stinger thing, and we didn't know, so we don't know what's going on with that. I'm thinking
Boston Scott always shows up.
He does. I love him. He just pops up. He's not a 16 game guy, but he'll pop in for 3 weeks and give you look like Barry Sanders. You know.
He's like, you need me now? Got you.
Yep. Need a huge touchdown on 4th and goal? All right, fine.
I'll
jump over a guy.
Yeah, it was exactly as you called it.
Yeah, I just liked how they won too, where it didn't give up a point in the second half, ended up starting to get a ton of pressure on the quarterback with the front 4, and it was different guys. It was Hargrave, it was Cox, it was Josh Sweat who had 2 sacks. It was even Milton Williams, it was a bunch of different guys, and just to lock up like that. And then, like we talked about, I talked about it on the pregame or postgame show, but just the poise of Jalen Hurts, the calmness of Jalen Hurts, whether it's defenders coming at him, whether it's scrambling on third down, whether it's a gate fucking falling on him and 16 people almost dying, like everything, he just seems calm, which is great. And then just making the big play on defense. It's all stuff. I'm like, all right, this is legit stuff that you can grow on.
Absolutely. And it's a sweep against the Washington football team. Congratulations. We both swept them this year.
Thank you. Felt good. Needed it. Much needed. Exactly what we needed to make the playoffs.
They've become they've been elevated in my hatred list this year.
I did not. We talked about it last week. I understand why you did. And I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like I know a lot of fans. A lot of like people blinded by their love for the team, where it's like, all right, the gate thing isn't why we're mad. It's the gate thing is on top of 16 other things that have happened before this. In regards to how bad the stadium is, and the stadium is bad because you have an owner who is just a scumbag and everyone knows it.
Yep.
And you have toxic workplace problems. You've got a toxic workplace. You've got a toxic environment every step of the way. That's why we're mad.
And now they're, I saw the leaked jersey today, and I'm like, that's the same jersey that you've always had. It's just the inside of the number's yellow now instead of white and yellow and white. Like
I figured they're gonna keep it.
He's like, he didn't want to change the color too, because that's I mean, I get it. The color scheme's I would be upset if that changed, because it just feels the same. But it's just Daniel Snyder not wanting anything.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes with him. So I wouldn't defend anything he does for my ownership, and I have scummy owners that I have to support here in Philadelphia. So trust me, it's not because it's another team. So, but yeah, congrats. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it was good for a big division wins for us and a few blowouts, and that's what it takes. And just the parity in this league is unmatched. Another year with a different division winner. It's great.
Yep. 16 years, 17 years, right?
I think, last time was 03-04 with the Eagles.
I think didn't they win it 3 years in a row, the Eagles? I think it was.
We won it like 4 or 5 because we kept going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah. And I think the longest other streak is 3 years.
The Cowboys?
In a division. No, in a division, right? And in the 17 years, another division's longest streak of one is, or of changing. It's like insane.
Oh, it's just 3? Yeah, I believe it. Just, so if you get a Hall of Fame quarterback in your division, you're kind of just screwed for a decade.
Yep. See ya.
All the Jets, Dolphins, Bills,
Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. All right, so what the fudge is happening this weekend?
It's a party in the parking lot. That's all it is, baby.
Like,
lots are going to open at probably 10 a.m. We've got until 8 o'clock. I would bring game. Listen, we're going to tailgate the Wings. We're going to tailgate the Eagles. We're going to tailgate the Flyers. We're early for Wing Bowl. Listen, I would just get your beach chair, repurpose it, bring a 6-pack or a 12-pack or probably even a 24-pack of beer and just relax in the parking lot, because that is the only given on Saturday.
Yep. That and Omicron.
No. We're outside.
This is going to be you. This is you going.
I don't know how, but I'm going to get you.
I'm going to get you.
I don't know how, but I'm gonna get you. We'll see. I think it'll be just like a pretty good tailgate scene, just based on everything going on, where we don't know what there is to play for and if the guys are gonna play. I think we talked about it, you and I, but I think that's why they moved us up to Saturday. We no longer have the ability to scoreboard watch, so you guys could see, the Bucks are up by 21 in the third quarter. Well, all right, Dak, you're done. Zeke, you got that knee. You're done. Amari, go play chess with Micah.
Yep.
And just like for us, the 49ers are winning. I don't know why the hell we're playing. And two big media markets here on Saturday night. We'll draw ratings one way or another. So I think that's how we ended up with the Saturday affair.
They drew ratings with Ben DiNucci.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
man, we've come so far since that game. Don't even want to think about that on a week where we clinched the playoffs.
even though they lost, Ben DiNucci did out-throw Carson Wentz in that game, but no big deal. No big deal.
I'm worried after my dream last night. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to root against them, but I want this kneel off to happen so bad.
So bad. I would do anything for it.
It is my main focus this week. But I also think that the Jaguars checked out a month ago. I really don't know.
They checked out when their head coach didn't fly home with them from Cleveland.
He checked out on that Thursday night football game and checked into a girl's pants.
Can you imagine, like, as a head coach, be like, all right, guys, have a good flight.
Yeah, just like showing up to the flight, be like, wait, where's coach? Like, oh, he's staying back. Like, what?
See you on Monday. It was a Thursday night game, and he said, I'll see you on Monday.
We did top 5 games of the year. I didn't put it on my list, but I wish I did. Sorry if you guys didn't. I just ruined it.
Which one?
That Thursday night football game.
No, I did not.
Sorry, Ben, if you put that on your list. No, he's shaking his head. No, we're good. All right. That would have been a funny one. Just because that was like an all-time NFL moment.
Yep.
The kneel off would be better, but that was an all-time NFL moment with that game.
It was. So yeah, I don't know in a Cowboys standpoint what they're gonna do. They're saying everybody's gonna play. Jerry's been on the radio, Steven's been on the radio, McCarthy in his press conference that they're going to win this game, to win this game. But what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they have guys like now Micah's not going to play. He's on the COVID list. J-Ron Curse, the safety that's been doing, everything for them, has been on the list with a hamstring. Why risk that if he hasn't been practicing? Like you said, Zeke has that knee. What are we just trying to get him 1,000 yards this season? Zeke knows how to run. Zeke knows how to block. I said it on Flippin the Birds too. I do think that McCarthy wants to get this team some reps in the cold, because if they do win in the 4 seed, then they're going to have to go up to Green Bay, chances are, and they haven't really played in cold weather at all this year, and Dak is not good in cold weather, and it's not going to Philadelphia this weekend is not going to be the same thing as going to Green Bay.
I was about to say, there's Philly cold and then there's Lambeau cold. It's two different things. I think, let me look up the weather this Saturday. It's going to be 32 going down to 19, so it's not going to be fun.
No. So hopefully get them some of those reps, but it's going to be a preseason kind of game. But what kind of preseason? Is it like the preseason week 1 or 2 where it's all practice squad guys, or is it preseason game 3 where Dak and the boys, Hurts and the boys are getting 3 quarters?
I'm with you, and I think you had said this before. You think it's going to be the preseason game 3 where they're getting a good amount of snaps, but they'll eventually pull the plug. I think that's what type of game it's going to be, because you want to maintain that crispness and be like, all right, we're playing another good team. Let's get a few reps in. Let's see how we feel. Are we going to put our bodies through a grueling NFL game all at once? No. We got to play next week in a big game in a big spot. So I would not be shocked if we were done at halftime or something like that.
I think it's also going to be for both teams. What type of game is it? Like if Dak and the offense go out there and score 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives, I think they just might be done. You got momentum, you look good, end it. But if it's like a 6-3 ugly ass game going into halftime and the offense has looked like shit, I think Dak is taking the field to start the third quarter.
I think so too. It's like when you're a little kid. Your parents were like, all right, if you do your chores, you can go play. You can be done. Mm-hmm. It'll be the same. Like if you take care of your business in the first half and you score and you defend well and you force turnovers and you get sacks and you run the ball and you don't get flags, you can go outside and play with your friends.
Mm-hmm. But if not, you keep getting your chores.
Yeah, you keep doing your chores.
So I think that's the type of game it's going to be for both teams. I think it's literally just working on the things that both teams need to work on. And at the same time, getting some more players, some reps. Like I wouldn't doubt if we see my guy, Darian Thompson, playing some safety instead of just special teams. And
Kenny Gainwell at running back.
Absolutely. And you playing wide receiver.
Oh, put me out there. Like an invincible.
I can't wait for Jalen Reagor to have 3 touchdowns and 170 yards in this game for some reason.
That would be hilarious, and I hope it happens. It would be great. Great quote today by him. This we keep doing the booing thing. I'm going to lose my mind. Listen, if you don't want to get booed, play well and play hard and don't play dumb.
Yep.
It's not hard. But Reger's quote was fantastic. I'll find it. He compared it to basically like he had obviously heard it, and he said when he heard the boos, it was funny, honestly. Derek Barnett told me just embrace that type of stuff because, I mean, it shows fans are paying attention. That's like saying once a coach stops yelling at you and stops coaching you, then you should be worried. I thought that was a great quote. When you stop paying attention, don't really care about you. That's
like
when you
JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
I was about to say, no one cares about him. And, he gets in and does his little blocking thing every once in a while. But yeah, great quote by him.
I think it is like he's a first round pick. You want him to, you're invested in him. This is love.
You could say that.
Like, just it's not like Philly fans want him to fail. You need him to succeed.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Well, every guy who gets booed, it's not because they're disliked. It's because it's like we invested heavily in you to succeed, and you are not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not feel the same way, if you are not also frustrated that you were coming up short, then that is the big issue.
Yep, 100%.
And I'm just like glad that he kind of understands that. It's like nice to like that, have that self-reflection and just understand it, and that like ask highly of yourself. So. But if he did have a 3-touchdown game in a Week 18 game that didn't matter too much, it would be kind of funny.
Oh, that would be so funny.
But yeah, I mean, anything else with this game? It's hard to, they want to give us score predictions and stuff like that. I really don't know how much we can do.
Why do they keep doing this?
Why
do they keep doing this?
Nice. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Clayton Kershaw are courtside at the Mavericks game. It's the Dirk retirement ceremony. They're not allowed to go to the Dirk retirement ceremony.
Micah literally just got COVID there 4 days ago.
But Dirk, he beat the big three, 2011 NBA Finals.
At least Amari had just had COVID and CD had it as well. So hopefully.
It's either good.
Like, quarantine these motherfuckers in the Omni, okay, for the playoffs. That's it. I don't give a fuck. You live here now for the next 2 months, hopefully.
Shout out Dirk. Fucking something. You just gotta want to go see it.
Our guy Chris Arnold's there emceeing right now.
Oh hell yeah! He wouldn't miss that for the world.
Hell no. Oh god! All right, they made us do a score prediction last night. I think I don't even know. I'm not doing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is it's impossible to do a score prediction, and we're not hitting as much analysis as we usually do. But you're in the dark. You don't know. You're flying solo.
I feel like I'm going into this like, huh. Okay.
That's kind of how I feel. It's just like, like I want them hurt. Don't get hurt. It's like I only want them to play for selfish reasons that I like watching them play.
Yes.
Want to see how they do in another week, and it's like in sometime in May, I'll be like, wish I could watch the Eagles right now.
Yes.
And I can't. And like this is one of the weeks you could, but it does not make much sense. I am with you. Like if I had to give a prediction, it would be that they will play some, not all. Yes. Whether that's a half, whether that's 3/4, whether that's Jason Kelce coming out and taking one snap just to keep a consecutive game streak alive, that's on the table as well. This is just like impossible to be like, I expect this weekend.
It all depends on how the game flows.
Yes.
Of what changes. I don't think there's a set plan right now. Where it's
I don't think so.
You are playing 8 series and that's it. No.
Yeah.
We'll see how the game goes.
We'll see who we get back in time. We'll see who's healthy. There's so many variables.
Are you ready? Are you ready to face the realistic possibility that this could honestly be the last home game for guys like Cox and Kelce?
Yeah. It'll be sad.
Cox.
You're gonna have to stop doing that. Actually, Jabril Cox, so you'll be fine.
Yep. And he's hurt.
Yeah, but he'll be back.
It will. Oh God, he would be a great Cox to have on the team right now.
Yeah. So I am ready. I was ready for it going into the season, but now I'm less into it just because Jason Kelce played so well this year that, like the Big Ben thing, that was an awesome moment. Just he got his farewell and it was cool at Heinz Field, and he's been the quarterback. I was 9 years old when they drafted him. It's crazy. It's just like he's been the quarterback there my entire life, and I'm sure a lot of people in Pittsburgh feel that way, and that was nice. But he's at the end.
Yes,
like
it's bad.
It's bad. It's we use that dying dog analogy, but man,
it's bad.
I hope the next quarterback targets Deontay Johnson as much as Big Ben. But Big Ben does it because he can only get the ball 5 yards.
Yes,
but literally. With Kelce, he's like still good. He's
sprinting
amazing
down the field.
Yeah. He made the Pro Bowl. He's probably going to be all pro.
Yep. So do you go out like that, or do you try and give it one more season?
At this point, I don't know. If he was leaning one more season, just be like, all right, I'm giving one more. You have a chance to build this team. We made the playoffs this year. We can be a real contender next year. I feel like it'll be like June, and he'll be sitting there like, do I have that itch? Do I want to go through training camp?
How's my body feel?
And how do I feel about this team? To go out and be like, all right, one last ride. Let me see if I can get another ring.
Because it's not like they're not going to give him like an ultimatum. Like, you need to let us know by draft day, because you can play Dickerson at center. He played center in Alabama.
He could, but I don't know if you want him to. But you could also draft that kid from Iowa if you wanted to, and just been like, listen, you may ride the pine for a year.
Yeah,
that's all right. But we'll figure it out for you in the future. And we'll see. Vincent Mulata can probably do it.
I don't think Jalen Hurts could see over him.
Yeah. I wish Mulata would get a carry.
Oh, God. Or catch.
As the rugby player or catch. Yeah, it would be unreal.
I mean, you could. Can you imagine putting him at fullback if you had somebody else to put out and tackle on the goal line?
Yep, you could. You honestly could. Just put Dillard in a tackle and put Mulata in the backfield, 4th and 1, and just give it to him. And yeah. Honestly, he would kill everyone. It'd be awesome.
So, yeah, we'll see if for those guys. I mean, I don't think Cox is going to retire, but I could see him being on another team for a year or two.
Yeah.
He's still got some juice, too. But I don't see Kelce ever going anywhere. He's an Eagle or he's retired.
Only thing I can see is if he wanted to play with his brother in Kansas.
Yeah. But they have that. Don't they have a rookie center who's a beast?
Yeah, that kid from Oklahoma who snaps with the wrong hand, which is awesome.
Yep. So, yeah, we'll see. A lot of energy, a lot of fire, a lot of hatred going into this game. I would also like to win just to go undefeated in the division would be nice, too.
I would like the win because there's the double-digit wins thing that just sticks out to me. Like, if you're a double-digit win team, you're good.
Yep. And same thing with Dallas, a 12-win team rather than an 11. 12 is always, even though it's 18, better. 12 always sounds. 12 to 13, you're like, okay, damn.
Yeah, like, ooh, Super Bowl contender. Yep. And like 10 wins is like, ooh, that's a good team.
Yep.
9 wins, you're like, all right, congrats on making the playoffs.
It's so weird that there's not going to be any 500 teams this year.
Yeah. It's tough for Kirk Cousins, but I'm sure he'll get over it.
Mm-hmm.
So you touched on playoffs. I want to touch on this real quick because I think it is an interesting topic. We just can do it quick before our TikToks. Teams you would want to play in the playoffs.
The Saints.
Well, yeah. I think there's a legit. The life is not fair that the Saints are going to get in the playoffs. I can see it coming.
Yep. Saints, and then maybe the Bucks with everything they have going on with injury. I don't want to obviously play Brady, but the Cowboys played really well against them week 1 down in Tampa. They're missing Godwin. AB won't be there.
Maybe.
Maybe. Evans is banged up, even though he is playing. They lost a couple guys defensively. So I think it would be Tampa over the Rams or Arizona or Green Bay, obviously.
That's funny that you say that, because if it plays out how we expect the 2 and we're 7 and we're looking at teams that could be 2, I'm going Rams over Bucks. And reason being, I like Matt Stafford a lot, but there's just times where he goes and just like they flip the switch on the back of his brain and turn it off, and he throws some passes where you're like, who the hell did you see that you threw that football? And all of a sudden, he has this wild card gunslinger 3 interception game, and that could lose you a playoff game. So if I had to choose between Matt Stafford, who can have a propensity for games like that, or Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, I got to lean Stafford. I like that Rams team, but I just don't want to play Tom Brady in the playoffs.
I just don't want to play Cooper Kupp and Beckham either.
Oh, no. Cooper Kupp, man.
just unbelievable. Shout out, have him in fantasy. No big deal. Yeah, I don't think there's a complete right answer to that because obviously in the playoffs every team's going to be good. So I really, for the longest time, really thought it was going to be us. And technically, I guess it technically still could be somehow.
Yeah.
But
If you guys win, Rams lose and Bucks lose.
yeah. Can you imagine?
It's not the craziest.
No, it's not. So we'll see.
It's not as crazy as the Colts losing and then having two teams kneel for 60 minutes. I am just, I wish it was any other team than the Colts.
I will say, if next week we are heading into a Cowboys-Eagles playoff game, this podcast next week will be a lot different than this one tonight.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Oh, God.
Right now, we're kind of we're treating our bodies. We're in a little bit of R&R.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the players. Like, we're not, they're playing maybe a half or three quarter. We're doing the same thing. We're, resting for the playoffs. We already made the playoffs.
We're at 3/4 speed, and we got to get our muscles ready for the playoffs. Come on. That's how we feel.
And even when we both get eliminated, we're going to continue through the end of the playoffs. So it's not like we're just a one and done podcast in the playoffs either.
Not a chance. We love the NFL. We'll be talking NFL. You want to talk NFL right now with the TikToks? You got anything left?
Let's bring Vince in. We're at 51 minutes. Let's see if we can keep this under an hour because that's what Vince loves.
He would love that. All right. So speaking of talking NFL, season is coming to a close. So let's recap the best that was. We are doing the top 5 games of the NFL season 2021.
The biggest season ever.
Was that the hashtag this year or something?
Probably.
Oh. Well, I've got 5 ready.
Yep.
I like my 5. There were a lot of pretty good games, but nothing crazy. No Hail Mary last plays and stuff like that. Are you guys ready? Normal triangle, 5?
Let's get into it.
All right. At 5, I have Bills-Titans, Week 6. Titans win 34-31. It was another Derrick Henry God amongst men game. And then at the end, the Titans get the stop on 4th and goal. And it was one of those situations. Josh Allen takes the QB sneak, probably gets that 99 out of 100 times. He slips. Bills lose, Titans win. They're the 1 seed.
That was a lovely game, actually. I am going Giants-Eagles. Giants win 13-7 over the Eagles just because of I can't imagine losing to that Giants team and Joe Judge and throwing 3 interceptions and having a wide receiver drop the ball and it hits you in the face mask to end the game on the goal line. So that was just a beautiful game to watch. And losing to Joe Judge is just, everybody wants to play for him. So I know it's hard to play against him.
Number 5 is the homer pick. I have the Eagles versus the Falcons week 1. I came into the season with extremely low expectations. They scored the first touchdown, and I was like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And that was the game where I fell back in love with football.
We were in Atlantic City.
Yeah, we were in Atlantic City. Me and Walsh were watching that game at the bar. It was just great vibes until, the next week.
Mm-hmm.
But the vibes came back. All right, at 4, I have Colts-Ravens, Week 5. Ravens win in overtime. The Colts had 500 yards of offense that day and lost. They blew an 18-point lead, a double-digit lead. Their defense just was gassed by the end. Lamar Jackson had over 400 yards by himself. He actually had 475 by himself. They took the ball in overtime, never looked back, won the game.
4 for me, Monday Night Football, Cowboys-Eagles. Beginning of the season, 41-21. Dallas put a beat down on Philadelphia while we were watching in the middle of a boxing ring in Atlantic City. It just was the offense was clicking. Trayvon Diggs with a pick 6 on Jalen Hurts. It was just it was just a beautiful, beautiful game. So Monday Night Football, probably the best Monday Night Football game of the season.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but I do not remember that evening.
Yeah, that was yeah, you were. Shout out Giovanni that night too. Was on the pregame show.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have the Jets versus the Titans. The Jets beat the Titans. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
That's my analysis. The Jets beat the Titans, remember?
Well, Jets fans remember. That was the highlight of the year. All right, at 3, I have Chiefs Bengals just from this past week. Bengals win 34-31. Jamar Chase is just awesome. We knew it at the beginning of the season. We knew it at LSU. We knew it in the draft process. This confirmed it. Also, the end of the game just was hilariously made no sense. Both coaches did not know what to do, which made it very funny. But the main story, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, awesome.
3 for me because we have the same brain. It's Bengals Chiefs from this past weekend. You and I always have at least one thing that's the same on this list. The ending was unbelievably hilarious. Joe Burrow smoking the cigar like after he won the national championship with the "We Run the North" shirt on was great. Love seeing the Bengals succeed, even when they don't even have an indoor practice facility. That's all I have to say about the Bengals organization, and they're going out there and winning the division.
Number 3. This is another homer pick. I have the Eagles versus the Saints and also the Lions. I also have a good old-fashioned ass whooping. Those 2 weeks, I was like, oh, watching football is fun again. I like to watch my team succeed, and especially the Saints. Ever since 2016, 2017, I've just hated that team. They're crybabies. They had our number a little bit there, and it's just good to beat them anytime we can.
Totally agree. That was a fun week. All right, at 2, I have Chiefs Chargers Part 2. Chiefs win in overtime. The Travis Kelce walk-off touchdown. That was a few weeks ago, Week 15. It was our first little taste of playoff football. Felt like a playoff atmosphere that whole day. Even in SoFi Stadium with Chargers fans, you're not really expecting that. So that was a pleasant surprise. So at 2, I have Chiefs Chargers Part 2.
2 for me, Cowboys at the Patriots. Overtime game. Cowboys win 35-29 in that game. Diggs had another pick 6 in this game. CeeDee Lamb with the walk-off touchdown to win it, even though Dak Prescott hurt his calf on that. It's the first time the Cowboys won in New England since like 1987. Neither of you were even a thought to be alive when that game happened. So long time in the coming, and it was just – I know it's not beating Tom Brady, but that was when the Patriots started rolling. Mac Jones, it was back and forth. Cowboys were down, came back to win. That was when I was really like, is this team legit?
Number 2, I have Texans versus the Titans. The Texans beat the Titans. Do you guys remember that?
I actually don't remember that one.
The Texans beat the Titans. Are they still the number 1 seed in the AFC?
They are.
Lost to the Texans and the Jets this year.
No sense.
Unbelievable.
No sense. All right, at 1, I have Steelers-Lions 16-16 tie in Week 10. It was some of the worst football I've ever seen, which made it some of the best football I've ever seen. The entire overtime period, the Steelers threw an interception. The Lions missed a field goal. The Steelers got it back and fumbled. The Lions went down to score, got called for a flag, had to punt, and then the Steelers fumbled again. It was gloriously bad football. At 1, I have the 16-16 tie between the Lions and Steelers.
Number 1 for me goes all the way back to Week 1, the actual first game of the entire season on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys against the Super Bowl champion Bucks. Cowboys lose 31-29, but this game had nothing but fireworks all the way down to the end when the Cowboys scored with a minute or so left, and you're like, oh, God, did they leave Brady too much time? And yes, unfortunately, they did. They hit the field goal to win it. But, Dak went 42 of 58 for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game, coming off the injury, coming off the shoulder. What's he going to do? Is he going to be able to play? And they just absolutely aired it out. I know they lost, but that game was electric to start the season.
Number 1, I have the Eagles versus the Panthers. This was one of those games where I accidentally fell asleep right before halftime. And I usually wake up like beginning the second half, like it's just a quick cat nap to get me reset for the rest of the game. I did not wake up until the end of the game, which is a bad omen when I normally do that. The last time I did it was the Titans game 2 years ago. They blew it in overtime. Yeah. So I wake up, end of the game, I was like, shit, they lost. And they won. They came back and won the game. I was like, what a surprise. And that was one of the best vibes I've had all season. So Eagles versus Panthers, number 1.
And we are at 1 hour on the dot.
Look at that.
Actually,
nice.
No, we messed up the intro. So we're actually under an hour right now. They need to know. That's behind the scenes. It's for the people.
Under an hour.
Love
Under an hour. What a week. What a year. This will be
What a
the
life.
last show of the regular season. We finish it together. That's how we started it together.
Hug.
Playoffs together. And we'll be back next week. Final matchups set. We'll see if we do a game day reaction show. I think it'll depend on how the game goes, if there's anything to react to. So we'll see on that. And we'll be back next week to talk NFL playoffs, where both of our teams will have our matchups set. I'm very excited for that.
Year 2 of the podcast, we're both in the playoffs. So sweet.
Can't ask for anything better. Started great with the trade on draft night with each other. Both got players that we wanted, and now here we are where we wanted to be in the playoffs.
How about it? How about it? Go follow us everywhere podcasts are. If you listen on Apple or Spotify or Google, we're there. Follow our YouTube channel. Get those reaction pods that Aidan was just talking about. And follow us on Twitter as well. Birds vs. Boys Pod, Twitter and TikTok. You can get our TikTok power rankings whenever you need them. They're there. Tell your friends, tell your family. Birds vs. Boys. It's not only for Birds fans or Boys fans. It's for NFL fans. Go Cowboys.
Good night.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That it?
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.